John chapter 6, verses 60, and then skipping down to 66 through 69. Starting with verse 60. When many of his disciples heard it, they said, "This teaching is difficult. Who can accept it?" Skipping down to 66. Because of this, many of his disciples turned back and no longer went about with him. In other words, stopped following him. So Jesus asked the 12, "Do you also wish to go away?" Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom can we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have come to believe and know that you are the Holy One of God." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Hello, everyone. It's Michael here at Sweet Home Maricopa. Welcome to my Sunday Sermonette series. This is a two-parter. I do always do 2 Sunday sermonettes on Sundays. Today being October 3rd, 2021. These 2 that I'm doing today are connected. It's a part 1 and a part 2, and this is part 1. And I will link part 2 in the description below. Also, before I move on, linked in the description below, somebody emailed me a link to their YouTube channel. It looks like they've been doing it a little while, and it's just reading the Bible, power verses, and he sent me a 20-minute little teaching out of the book of Mark, and the guy's he's kind of infectious, like really easy to listen to. Really, I mean, if you're a new Christian in particular, go listen to this guy. It's linked in the description below. He just kind of lays it out very plain and simple and very straightforward. Good guy. I don't normally do pitches here on my Sunday sermonettes, but the guy sent an email and I watched the whole thing. I mean, I'm a busy guy, but I watched the whole 20-minute thing and I loved it. So give him a little shout out. Okay. This chapter of John, the book of John chapter 6, at the beginning, like he's just fed a bunch of people. I don't know if this is the 3,000 or the 5,000, but there's 2 stories where he feeds a bunch of people. They come and they're just chasing him around at this point. Like his ministry is at its peak, and it's like a week before he dies. Right? He knows what's coming, and it's all these people are thronging to him, and they don't know what's coming, and he's feeding them, and so he basically uses that to teach them about the bread of life, and then he gets into, but the true bread is, that comes down from heaven is me. Eat my flesh, drink my blood. He's like, he puts it in very, very difficult terms for them to reconcile, especially those who aren't close to him, who aren't like realizing that this is the Messiah. Those who are just out there curious, like what's the big crowd about? This is that guy. Oh, let's follow him around. And then the Jews, the Pharisees, the leaders who are just trying to. Well, there were Pharisees that loved him, right? Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus. Like these are Pharisees that were like, this is the Messiah. But then, for the most part, there are those who they have power. They are the religious leaders, and they don't want to lose their power. And this guy's taking their power away. People are following them, and so they're trying to challenge him because they're losing their power. And so he uses this just difficult expression: "Eat my flesh and drink my blood." And they're like, yeah, that's kind of weird, It's like, what? And some of the followers left because the Jews are like challenging him, and kind of a peer pressure, right? It's like, oh, yeah, he kind of crossed a line there. That guy's kind of whacked. But Jesus knew this was going to happen. It's kind of a purging, right? He's very popular, but he doesn't care about the popularity, right? He's not going to just say things that are going to get more people to him. He's just going to speak the truth, right? Which is kind of the opposite of what people tend to do. It's like, oh, I'm getting more followers. I have a large following. What do they believe? I better cater to what they believe. No, Jesus is like, I'm here for a purpose. I know my purpose, and I'm going to stick to it and say the hard things. And so he says the hard things, and it's just kind of a cleansing and a winnowing. And I'm sure some of those who fell away came back later, right? Some of them, perhaps many of them. But the reason this stood out to me is, so I'm in this journey. Suddenly I have this larger audience that I've ever had, right? People watching my channel. And those of you who watch on Sundays, it's like a core. And I have come along on my spiritual journey, my theological knowledge, right? Because it's not blind faith, right? People think it's a leap of faith. It's blind faith. It's like, no, when you actually get closer to reality, right? Evidence, data, proof increases your faith. And so, I mean, I went to Bible college, 2 years of concentrated study on just the Bible. You know, there are Bible colleges where you can get a degree in whatever and take some Bible classes. No, I went to a 2-year concentrated just Bible teaching, like a mini seminary. I didn't go to a seminary, but this was, and I've been on staff at churches. I've been a youth pastor. I've been an intern. I've worked full-time in ministry. I was a missionary. Okay, I've heard lots and lots of, I read lots of theology books, and so I'm not uninformed. And so I am going in the next video I'm going to go ahead and say some shocking things, some things that are unpopular and that will inevitably cause some of you to unsubscribe. Let me just tease it right here. The Bible doesn't teach about a rapture of people flying up in the air.